spirit for the Lord, I can't turn down. Talking too much, bruh, it's time for you to learn now.
So what they hearing, get offended, get on now.
Okay, what was your name again?
Gwen.
Gwen. Okay, so when you first came up, you said that you knew you were Israel, right? How do you know that you're Israel?
My grandmother raised us, I believe.
Okay, so what history connects you to know that you're Israel? Because I can say you're Jamaican, I can say you're Asian, I can say all these type of things, but how could you prove to me who you actually are?
Mainly because my family actually has documentation, pictures, and whatnot from when our families were raised. So we know our disobedience for people. But also in the Bible, it will tell you the history of the entirety of Israel as a children of God.
Okay, so what's that? Let me know some of the history. Where can I find that history?
I'm not sure where you can find it, but I do know in the end of when they're telling about David and about Jesus, they give you Jesus' whole lineage from the beginning all the way to the end.
Okay. So here's what connects you, right? Go there for John 28. Because we're gonna go back to the pants thing, but I want you to understand your nationality, how you can explain that to people, right? Because you say you know Black history, right? So how did we get here?
So originally, there were several different ways how we got there. Some people who were more on Pacific Islands, Cubans, whatnot, since they were so dark-skinned, they just automatically assumed that they were. But also in Africa, there's the Europeans would pay other, African tribes to basically sell out their neighbors in return for goods. But then they wouldn't give them the best ones, and then they would eventually...
I got you. How did we get from the west coast of Africa to America? How did that happen?
It was mainly because of slavery.
Slavery, but how? How does a nation of people come from west side of the west coast of Africa to here? So what part of transportation? A boat. So what sea that the Bible talks about that? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68.
The Dead Sea, I believe.
Dead Sea. Listen to this.
That's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The word Egypt means slavery. So the Bible said he's going to bring you to slavery again with ships. So like you said, how did we get here? Through ships. That's what the Bible says. And what's your name, brother? What's your name? Isaac. What's your nationality? Mexican. So Black and Mexicans, right? What goes on with Blacks and Mexicans? What was that? Discrimination? What do you say, sis?
I would definitely say a lot of poverty and
he's about to go have a session with his homie.
Poverty and conflict. Give me Jeremiah 50:33. Poverty and conflict. Why does poverty and conflict happen in Black and Hispanic neighborhoods?
Mainly because while we're constantly blaming each other for our poor struggles instead of uniting together and realizing who's really causing the issues, we will fight someone who we see has more instead of realize that just because someone has more than you does not mean that they are your enemy. It's the enemy is the person who's taking away from you, not the person who's trying to how to get more.
Okay. What about you? What did you say? Okay, it's instinct for us to do each other wrong. Okay, so why is that our instinct?
I mean, back in the day, people said that's my spot. And like, if you go to my spot, I'll kill you.
Okay.
Also, the 12 tribes of Israel at one point in time, they were constantly fighting to have a place of their own, a place to live. So they're constantly in a state of war trying to find the promised land.
Okay, let's see what this says. Read that.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah.
When it says the children of Israel, it's talking about the Hispanic people, right? And when it says the children of Judah, they're talking about the Black people. What happens to them?
Were oppressed together.
The Bible says, God says, Blacks and Hispanics are oppressed together. What was your name, bro? Isaac, and it was Gwen. Isaac and Gwen. But the Bible says both your people were oppressed together. Right? So, while we're oppressed together, how come you, so-called, or our nation, so-called Blacks and so-called Mexicans, how come we have conflict between each other if we're getting oppressed by the same people?
Because they've managed to turn us against each other instead of managing to make us fight against them. Because if we realized that we were oppressed together and that we could fight together to overthrow that oppression, then we would do so.
Okay, so you're saying they turn us against us so we won't overthrow their oppression. What do you say?
A variety of things, but mainly
Government. Okay, so one thing you said, right? You said that we need to come together so we can overthrow. What does that look like? Because we can't just walk in with guns and stuff like that. That can't be the solution, because if that happens, they're gonna kill us off, right? So is gun violence, is that the answer? Is that what we should be doing?
That is not the answer.
So how do we come together and reunite and stop this oppression that's happened to us?
Our number one thing is we need to start building community.
Okay.
We need to start building better schools. We need better help for the poor.
Okay.
And most of all, we need to start loving our children and loving our parents. Because children nowadays, they don't respect their parents.
Okay.
And parents nowadays, they do things to anger their children. And that divide between generations loses information.
I hear you.
And
I hear you.
Information becomes ignorance. And with ignorance comes needless war.
Okay, what do you say?
Stop pointing fingers.
Stop pointing fingers. Let's see what the Bible says. Because there's times blacks and Hispanics, everyone came together, right? And we wanted to march, or we wanted to vote, or we want to go to economics. We do different things together to try to get past this oppression, but it hasn't worked, right? We had a 1 million man march, you know what that is? Right? We had, what other things that black and Hispanics did to help stop this oppression that's happening?
Remember we walked with Filipinos for the Cesar Chavez march.
You said we walk with the Filipinos. Okay, what do you say?
We built Wall Street before.
Black Wall Street, yeah, we did those things. So how come we came together, but it didn't work? How come it didn't work?
Because it was, as soon as they saw communities starting to be built up, communities starting to thrive, that jealousy and that fear of people overthrowing them and doing to them what they did to us, they would burn down our communities.
They burned down communities, okay.
Sell off women, children, and
so you're saying the other nations is what, messed up what we had going on. Okay. What's your name, bro? Jose. What is something that blacks and Hispanics did to help the oppression in our communities?
Bring it out.
Something she said, we had something called Black Wall Street. That's when a group of blacks had their own community, their own businesses. He said we had different marches, we came together. What's some things you've seen that black and Hispanic do when we see oppression happen in our communities?
Streets up.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? Y'all all said coming together, right? But the thing is, with everything we came together as a nation, as a people to do, it didn't work.
Right.
Because we did something wrong. Read this.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
So this is God talking to Gwen. This is God talking to Isaac. He says, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Read.
Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
When they brought us out of slavery, this is what he told us. Go ahead.
Saying, you only have I known.
He only knows blacks and Hispanics. He doesn't mess with the Filipinos, nothing with the Asians. He messes with his people. God's people is so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Keep reading.
Of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Can two walk together?
The Bible says, can two people walk together? Go ahead.
Except they be agreed.
Except they be agreed. So what does that mean?
Teach.
What does that phrase mean? You know what that means, Isaac?
Let her know.
What about you, Gwen?
say agree?
No, read it again.
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
What does that mean?
Bring it out.
It means that two people can only walk together when there's no conflict between the two.
Teach them out.
No finger pointing, no anger, no needless fighting over small things.
Okay, I agree with you. What about you? What does it mean to be agreed?
I agree with her.
Okay, you agree with I want to hear in your own words, Isaac. Come on, talk to me.
Right. Bring it out.
I mean, it's a conflicting situation. You have to agree with one another, but there's some certain instinct that doesn't allow us to
There's certain instincts that doesn't allow blacks and Hispanics to agree. What are those instances? Different ambitions, okay. What was that? Manipulation, okay. So these things cause us not to be agreed.
But this is for every ethnicity.
Okay.
Just us.
I hear you. But why is it so important if we come together that we need to be agreed? Why is that important?
Because if your views start to differ, you're unequally yoked. And when you're unequally yoked, it causes conflict within families, it causes conflict within communities, and eventually the whole movement is torn apart because of these unequal yokes.
All praises. That's what the Bible says, right? When people are not agreed with things, it's not going to work, right? Because what if, God forbid, you think it's okay to rape women? And I say, no, that's not okay. How are we going to be agreed? If this brother thinks we can rape women, can I walk with you? Can I do anything with you? If we want to start a business, right, but that brother over there is a thief, could you agree with him? Can you make things work? No, you can't make these things work, right? He even says no, right? So we need to be agreed in order to come together. So what's the thing that we need to be agreed upon?
Bring it out! Bring it up!
But at the same time, you know, God's commandments are solid. He says what he says, he means what he says.
Okay.
Right? Now, if we are walking in the same path, you should have the same views as me.
Okay.
You should also be following God's commandments.
All praises, sis. So we need to be agreed on keeping the commandments.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.